Back like we said we would be.
Okay, what is up, y'all? We are back again, and we had like an interesting comment. I feel like we get this comment a lot. It's like, oh, if you guys are gonna keep on talking trash about Jehovah's Witnesses, then if you guys know something better, then let us know.
Well, you know, that's a common thing, not just with Jehovah's Witnesses, even a lot of religious people. And I did a video on TikTok, I want to say last week, and I explained it this way. You ever met a person that's just high off life?
Yes.
They don't drink, they don't smoke, they just live and they exist. That's what it's like when you are not a part of this cult or religion in general. Yeah. And what a lot of people are, they kind of like shout out to Jerron, some of these people like crackheads. Because it's like a person that has a drug addiction, they can't see life without it. So they're like, all right, well, if I'm not going to smoke crack, then what am I going to do? And it's just like, just be crackless. Like you are able to live life without being on drugs or constantly drinking. Yes. And it's the same thing. You are able to live life without belonging to, you know, this religion. Yes. And it's okay.
And once again, this is why we always say we don't try to wake up active Jehovah's Witnesses. No. That is not in our ministry. But what we do want to do is, like, for the people who had questions like ourselves, we like to lay out the information like, listen, y'all, this is what they say. This is what they do. You know what I mean? You guys aren't crazy for noticing the things that they do. You know what I mean? But am I going to go to my grandparents and be like, well, look at all of these lies. Like, look at what... And I get why people want to do it because they think that they're saving somebody or whatever. But the truth is, all of us live our lives through our own perspective and our own... everything that has happened throughout our own lives, you know what I mean? So I don't know every single thing that has transpired in my grandparents' lives that have attracted them to this religion and have made them cling on to this religion. For all I know, like, this could be like their only form of faith and like being able to keep moving forward and things. Am I going to take that away from them? I'm not.
No, it's not. Everybody is on their journey. Just like we were meant to be Jehovah's Witnesses up until 2020. Yeah. But somebody trying to wake us up in 2017, 18, we wasn't ready yet. No. And it wasn't time for somebody to shake us and wake us up, but we got there on our own timing, and we have to look at other people that way. If somebody is not interested, like, we're not about to send them our content and all that. This is for the ones that's looking, like you said.
Yes, that something has sparked in their minds, like, listen, something isn't feeling right, and that's what we are here for. And I feel like whenever you look at life in that way, you stop putting all of your restrictions and what you think that people should do or need to do and projecting them onto people. You know what I mean?
For real.
Like, live your life in what feels right and things to you.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the main answer on, well, if y'all not going to tell people to be Jehovah's Witnesses, what do y'all have that's better?
Let's talk about it.
Let's go. What's better than being a Jehovah's Witness? What is the thing to trade it out for?
Yeah.
Freedom. That simple. We're not offering no other religion or no other thing. We're literally saying be free. And what we mean by be free, we'll break down point by point. One of the most important ones that goes over a lot of heads because we either forgot about it or it was so normal to us, we just kind of roll with it. They will always tell new recruits or new studies, strip off the old personality and do what?
Put on the new one.
So think about that. The old personality, you think of it as a Jehovah's Witness as this evil person who wasn't worthy to Jehovah and all this other stuff. In reality, it was just you.
Yes, and sometimes it's just like life not being centered around Jehovah is how they make it seem. But in reality, they're trying to strip you completely because it's like you're not even able to indulge in some of the hobbies that you had beforehand. You know what I mean?
No.
If you liked to go and sing at the local, I don't know, karaoke spot or something, like, and it's like a paid gig, they don't want you to do that anymore. You should be going and getting rest so that you can be up and ready to go on Sunday morning or Saturday morning so you could go out and preach this good word, you know? Everything has to be like centered around Jehovah, which is not it's not a bad thing for your religion to be like the center point of your life, like,
True.
you know, guiding your morals and things like that. We're not saying that. But whenever it's you becoming completely indoctrinated to the point where you can't even treat like your past family members and things like normal human beings, and it's that level of indoctrination to where you can't even recognize who you are anymore.
And people think you went crazy. Remember, I seen this on TikTok. Somebody had said, remember joy, Jehovah, others, yourself. You were literally supposed to put yourself last, even to people.
Yes.
The others include people that will turn their back on you because you bumped some cheeks. They had nothing to do with them. Oh, no. I can't associate with you no more. I'm not speaking to you no more. Yeah, so you literally strip off who you are, and you know Jehovah's Witnesses watching this. That's not true because I still get to play sports. But this is something my grandmother told me. All right, you find the time to work out, but make sure you putting that much effort into the watchtower and having your lessons done, which my grandmother meant well, but in reality, you are literally guilt tripped on how much you balance the watchtower versus your hobbies.
Yes.
Your hobbies have to always be last after you done studied everything, you done read the Bible for the week and done all that, and then on top of working, that little bit of time you got left is for you. That's not right. Or putting yourself after all these other people that's not your real friends.
And that's literally if you have any time left. I'm sure that
True.
there's a lot of parents that can relate to this, but a lot of them don't have any time left at the end of the day after they didn't already put, you know, their kids ahead of themselves. And for like moms that are stressed out, it's always a highlight, like, okay, make sure you prioritize like self-care. You know what I mean? Self-care does not exist when you're a Jehovah's Witness.
Not at all.
Their idea of self-care is go read the Bible, go do some personal study, and meditate on the scriptures.
That's it.
And I think another point of the freedom part of it is like you have been living your life in such a small bubble this entire time, you know what I mean, to where you can't see anything outside of this religion. So like, what else is there that's better? For me, what's better is being able to have the freedom to go to different countries, and if I want to visit a temple or a mosque or, you know, a Catholic church, I can visit any of these places and not feel guilty about it. You know what I mean? Not feel like I am not going to make it to the new system just because I'm visiting these other places of worship. And I think whenever you broaden your perspective in that way, that's when you begin to realize like so many of these religions are so similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
same format.
Yes, and people are fighting for the same goals, to be good people, to give back to people. Like, these are some of the highlighted points in most of these religions. You know what I mean?
I like that you brought that up. And even looking at different religions, you are always told, on one hand, Jehovah's Holy Spirit is so powerful. But on the next hand, don't even look, don't even read, don't even step into a church for a funeral or nothing like that, because all of a sudden, Jehovah's Spirit not going to block all this bad stuff. So you are constantly in fear, yet believing that you have the truth and everything else is wrong.
Yes.
And you don't want to accept that this isn't the truth.
Right.
That's the first step. But once you understand it's not the truth, you have the freedom to look at anything that works for you.
Yes.
That's it. If you want to join another religion, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's fine too. You literally have that freedom, but you've been taught that you can only, like you said, live in this bubble.
I literally know people who have become Buddhists, Muslims, atheists, went to a different Catholic church, a Christian church, you know what I mean? And there's no like bad blood, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. That's what ended up resonating with them is like these kinds of beliefs. But that's the freedom that you have. We're not here to tell you what for sure is going to be better for your life. We don't know you. You know what I mean?
Real. And you don't know me.
Yes, we don't know you. So you have to go, and you owe it to yourself to do that research on your own.
And your beliefs may change over the years. You may at one point leave and join a certain religion or a church or whatever it is, and you might do that for the next 5 years, and then you might be like, you know what, this ain't for me. But just like that time of being a Jehovah's Witness on your journey, it was necessary for you to be in this for who knows what reason.
Yeah.
And you are allowed to keep learning more things. What you know today, you may not believe in tomorrow. And once you have that understanding, you look at everything you learn as, this is interesting, but I'm willing to learn more. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, this is the truth today, even though it was new light right beforehand, but this is right, and ain't nothing else. And if somebody tells me something otherwise than this, it's wrong. Once you have that freedom, you learn everything. It's like, all right, this has got me to this point.
Yes.
And somebody can tell you something completely different or crazy, at least for us, and we're like, man, let me find out where you got that from. What did you read?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna read that too. And you are able to make your own interpretation from that. You have the freedom to.
I think the biggest takeaway that I got from not only what you're saying, but just like learning more is the more you learn, the less you know.
For real. It's like a rabbit hole of you get addicted to knowledge. Especially things that sound crazy. I want to know where people are getting these ideas from or pinpoint where it's coming from. Because in the organization, it's the opposite. They give you some information, you may not understand it, and that's just it. Don't ask too many questions.
Don't ask questions.
No. And I want to say leaving this cult is like a person in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, that's always such a good example.
It is. That's literally what it is. Just think about this. Take the Jehovah's Witness aspect from it and make it a relationship. Somebody is telling you, now I told you about talking to your mom. I told you about talking to your sister. Like people that are supposed to be in your life, all of a sudden you can't talk to them no more. Oh, that outfit, don't wear that no more. All the clothes you've worn your whole life, you can't wear none of that. The music you like to listen to, you can't listen to that no more.
What attracted that person to you to begin with?
For real, all of that. What you watch, I don't think you should be watching this.
Yeah.
Literally every aspect of your life of something you may like has been stripped away because that's the old personality, as they call it.
Yeah.
And the new personality that they call is not your new personality that worked for you. Is this cookie cutter way of being a Jehovah's Witness, and anything that doesn't fit inside of this cookie cutter is cut out. And that's the only way you can be a Jehovah's Witness is by being who they want you to be.
Yes.
That's it.
We are freaking humans. We're not supposed to be cookie cutter, okay?
No.
We're all supposed to be different. It's a beautiful thing to be different from each other. There's nothing wrong with being a unique individual. That's literally what makes the world continue to evolve and everything. You know what I mean? So
we need balance. People, just think about if two people are exactly alike, it's not much to learn from each other.
No.
Yeah, like you need opposite. When one person is up, the other person is down, and vice versa. One person is angry, one person has, more of a calmer side to say, let's look at this aspect. Or one person may be calm, and the other person, hey, you can't let that slide. Stand up for yourself. We have to be different. Jehovah's Witnesses put on this fake, we're all the same, and what happens is who you really are is squished like this. And people end up snapping and going insane one day. Or eventually living and acting on what they've been fighting against doing. Which is why a lot of them hate us former people, because look at them celebrating birthdays. You waiting on that new light. Look at them growing that beard. Now all of a sudden they can grow beards that quick. Because they want to do things, but they just haven't gotten the okay.
Yes. And the truth is, during our human experience, like, we're supposed to make mistakes. It's literally part of being a human. You know what I mean?
For real.
You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to give yourself enough grace to be like, okay, like, I'm not going to do that again, but I forgive myself for doing that, and let's do something else, okay?
For
let's
real.
go a different route here.
And then the real life mistakes, that list is so much shorter than Jehovah's Witness mistakes. You will beat yourself down. I can't believe I watched that Elf movie. How does Jehovah make me? Like, that ain't even no mistake.
No, it is just not that serious.
It's
like,
not.
Life doesn't have to be so freaking serious. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, everything, I think that's where, like, my type A kind of personality ended up coming from, is because it's this, like, need to, like, be excellent. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes you have to realize, like, you're a human. You don't have to be excellent 24/7. Okay?
No,
like,
every day is not a good day.
Yes, and that's all right.
Yep, and they also have a lack of freedom as far as knowledge. Like, I remember when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I was interested. I remember saying, like, I wonder what voodoo is about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in studying it, but I have no clue what voodoo is. I just heard it's something bad.
And it's demonic.
And it's demonic. Oh, man, you shouldn't be thinking like that. And I'm like, I'm not about to join, which is funny because when I was a Jehovah's Witness, right before I woke up, I started looking into the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff I'm like, oh, that's cool. And other stuff I'm like, I ain't really into that.
Yeah.
And I never became a Muslim to this day. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when you're a Jehovah's Witness. You are not allowed to be interested in anything that doesn't go with the agenda.
Nothing.
Because they brainwash you into feeling like your whole mind is going to be warped.
Yeah.
I remember the same time, this when the Black Israelites was like on World Star and stuff. And one of my elders was saying like, you got to be careful, even walking by them because you may think like, oh man, that makes sense. And I was just like, okay, but looking back on that, it's like,
what type of sense does that make?
what type of goofy, if anything, if something makes sense, that sounds like a good thing. That sound, I wonder to this day, I'm like, did he know it was a cult and he getting paid or something? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's the same elder that when I asked about 1914, when we did my study, he's like, oh, next week, I'm going to have to do some more studying on that. And next week, and then the next week, I forgot to study that.
That's happened to me.
Yes, because you don't know. You don't understand it either.
Yes, and there are so many doctrines that you just don't understand. And you push it behind and you're like, oh, I just hope I never get asked that out in the ministry. Like, because I don't know.
I'm not ready for it.
Yes, and that is so, that's terrible for the religion that you say is your everything, your all things, you know what I mean? Your entire life is based off of this, and you can't answer some of the hard questions. Like, hard questions are necessary, not even just in they're necessary in relationships, they're necessary in friendships, and they're necessary in a religion that's going to be dictating your entire life and how you move.
Think about any other profession where it's okay to just not know. Like a pilot, like, man, what we gonna do if we hit a storm? I don't know.
Let me get back to you.
I'll get back to y'all. Or a doctor. A doctor, man, my heart beating fast. What should I do? I don't know. Like, in no other ways it's okay, but in Jehovah's Witness world. Yeah. And lastly, you no longer have to live in fear. So that's something else to trade off. You are always afraid that, all right, am I doing good enough? Because this is the trick. Everybody believes in the new system, but they also believe, but won't talk about, that they don't know for sure if they're going to be there because it's a resurrection hope. The hope of the paradise. It's not the fact.
Yeah.
It's the hope. Not to mention, the whole thing is just faith. And faith is not fact. But back into what we're talking about.
That's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a different topic. But you are always in fear. And a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't understand us because we're just like, oh, well. And once you really wake up as far as life in general, the less fear you have because you can only control you now. That's it. I can't control you. I can't control them. I can't control tomorrow. I can't control yesterday. Yeah. And once you understand that concept, it's like, all right, I can only worry about what I got going on that's in my control. And you have this freedom. Fear is how they scare people with politics and religion because what you can't see is the scariest thing because now it's just your imagination. You can't see the new system. You can't see Armageddon or this devil that's always waiting for you to go against Jehovah. So you're constantly in fear because you can't see it. All you have is this. Yeah. And you will create a rabbit hole of bad case scenarios in your mind. Yeah. And it'll get 10 times worse. This is how they control you. So once you get out of that, people are like, oh, what you going to do when the new system comes? It's a joke now. Like, I ain't scared of that stuff. Yeah, it's not real to me no more.
So, there's that. Like, I'm creating my new system.
Yeah.
Right now.
Today.
That's the only thing that I am for sure of is that, like, my body's breathing right now. I'm alive. Like, we're here. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try to make the absolute best of it, literally.
Exactly.
People don't like whenever I joke about stuff like that because it's always like the super Christians that are like, oh, well, you're going to hell. And I was like, well, me and Satan are going to be besties.
Yeah, it sounds like it's jumping down there.
I'm going to make the best out of it. Like, what else can you do? You know what I mean? Like, if that were the situation, I'm going to try to make the best out of any situation that I'm in. But the truth is, I think that whenever it comes to the fear aspect of things, people are afraid of freedom too. They don't know what to do with themselves. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I'm glad you said that.
It's true. Like, some people need to be led.
I was gonna say that. I'm glad you said that.
It's true. So like, for the people that need to be led, go be led. I'm not trying to tell you to go do something different. No. You know what I'm saying? But like, for the people who are like they live on the outskirts of that kind of thing and are viewed as like the black sheep and the free thinkers and things, like they're always trying to be put into a box, and the box just doesn't work. No,
it's not for everybody. Just like some people are meant to be bosses or entrepreneurs, but you also need workers. Some people was like, hey, that's too much responsibility. Some people like to own property. Other people don't want that responsibility. I'd rather just rent, and I ain't got to worry about no water heater or nothing going out, and I'll just pay my money. It's not for everybody. Some people need a religion, which is fine, and other people don't. It's like, man, I wake up and I'm at peace without it, and I don't need somebody to read to me when I got the same book. Or some people don't need the book at all.
And some people don't want to go and do the research on their own. It's too much work. So they would rather somebody else do all of the research for them.
And pay them.
And then allow them to tell you what this scripture means.
That's simple. Everybody doesn't need it, and it's fine. Do what works for you. And to the people that will say, well, y'all know different from the Jehovah's Witnesses. The difference between us, we not knocking on your door with this awakened truth stuff.
Sure not.
We are not trying to recruit somebody to something. People, this video is sitting, and it's up to you to click on it, and it's also up to you to watch it or to watch it through the end. But that's totally up to you. But it's not us that's trying to recruit you or none of that. We just sharing our experience and what we know, and either you with it or you ain't.
Or what we've learned, you know what I mean? And what we have learned may change tomorrow.
Yep, and when it changes, we'll tell you.
Okay.
We ain't gonna blame it on no new light. We're just gonna say, we were wrong about this.
Yeah.
And this is what we come to learn.
Exactly.
That's simple. But this is just kind of a preview. Another thing we talk about all the time, but that's basically the reason behind our journals that we made.
Yes.
It's not telling you what to do. It's just breaking you through the steps of healing from a cult.
Yeah.
And it's actually asking you about yourself. What do you like? What if you were a Jehovah's Witness your whole life? What is things you've always wanted to do? Or if you became one, what did you used to like? What would you like to do? What are your goals? Who are you? Because we don't know who the hell we are when we Jehovah's Witnesses. We are literally, I'm a Jehovah's Witness versus I am so-and-so.
Yes.
That comes first.
Oh, that's so true. And it's an easy example for that too is sometimes like people who do just have kids, like the moms who have just given birth, a lot of times they lose their own personalities like within having their baby, and like their whole personality becomes them being a mom, and they lose who they are. That's like how being in a cult is. You lose who you are, and you can't remember. So whenever you're coming out, like this is just a guideline to be like, okay, remember who you are. You know what I'm saying? And bring that back, and that'll help you see what will be best for you. You know what I mean? In regards to how you want to live your life. It's
that simple. And to close out, there's a part in there we talk about becoming limitless, which sounds crazy, but stop setting limits on yourself.
Okay.
Think of the craziest thing that you would like to have in your life. Like we'll say stuff like, well, I want a Lamborghini. Some people go, man, that's almost $300,000. So they got one.
Money is not real.
Why can I have it? Yeah, money is not real. Especially since it's become digital. It's like
really not real.
It's like, I want to buy this from you. All right, let me type these numbers in. All right, now I got it.
Yes.
We didn't physically touch no money. You know what I'm saying? Like that is that simple. It's digits. But yeah, let us know what y'all think on how y'all got through y'all journey, or what y'all would tell somebody that's trying to get through and figure out what to do next. Yep. So
we will be here. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram page at Awaken Truths IG and our TikTok at Awaken Truths LLC.
Yep.
I don't man the TikTok, y'all.
Yeah, it's all good. And the link to the books is in the description. And on the way out,
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.